Well, hello people, and welcome to a showcase of everything new that arrives with the second of the Creators Around the World packs, Germany. The pack includes service buildings, signature buildings, mixed use and medium density housing, again with several more hundred assets arriving, giving us some much needed variety in the CS2 asset pool. The pack has been developed by Armesto, Feindbold and Titan, so big shout out to those wonderful creators who've managed to get this pack published. Let's take a look at it, shall we? So first up, we have our German elementary school, which holds 1500, which is very nice indeed. The vanilla one only holds 1000, and they're both the same upkeep price, which is wonderful for 1500, well 500 extra capacity, which is going to be very helpful for keeping on top of those education demands. And a really wonderful building. It has very strong kind of private education vibes to it. You could certainly piece together a bit of kind of a private school campus using these. Very nice indeed. It does have some upgrades, of course, one of which adds 20 outdoor recreation and a building on the side. And then there's also a 500 capacity extension wing, of course, bringing the school to 2000, which is tremendously welcome. And again, a really, really wonderful asset. Definitely see myself using lots of these going forward. A little playground, lots of props in the middle, great tile work. Really nice school, this one. Next to this, we have the German firehouse, which has an upgrade for 4 more fire engines, and then there's also a garage extension, which tags in along the back. Nice and compact, this one. It's pretty cheap for upkeep as well. So always nice to have some new service buildings, of course, with some very fancy kind of green tiles. I really like those. Very nice indeed. Next door to this is the chunky fire station, of course, which is considerably more expensive, but it does have an upgrade for efficiency with training facilities being added onto the back, and then also a garage extension as well, which really increases the footprint of the building. Again, covered in fancy German green tiles, a little bit of skylight there, and a nice kind of firefighter's courtyard in the middle. And again, it's one of those assets that doesn't particularly scream fire station, so as we saw quite often with the French pack, a lot of these will work away from their intended function as just kind of generic main street asset. You could definitely use this as a bit of a town hall, couldn't you, or something like that. So we always appreciate that with the buildings. Next door to this, we have one of the signature buildings, which is the German department store, which has very strong kind of Battersea power station vibes, doesn't it? I don't know if this is inspired by a German building, but it really reminds me of the old Battersea power station in London. And again, this is an asset that is screaming to be duplicated, isn't it? You just want to stick two of these together and have a real chunky commercial building. So it is a commercial, unique. You only get companies in here, which is very nice and a really cool centerpiece. Big fan of this one. One of the best unique buildings the game has now. Next door to this, we have the German high school, which is very nice again. Really lends itself to that kind of private school vibe, doesn't it? We have a gym extension here, which adds a building onto the back, which of course is going to provide outdoor recreation, and then a 600 student capacity upgrade as well, which adds another building onto the left of the blueprint. But again, really nice courtyard in the middle, great prop work, nice bit of hedge lining, yes please. Always a fan of these new service buildings. There we have the police headquarters next door, again, which really looks like a town hall, doesn't it? You'd certainly build kind of a main, really geometric road frame around this. Nice kind of mall out the front with pedestrian roads. Treat it as a mayor's office, a town hall if you like, while also satisfying police demand. Office extension, which adds additional floor space, which is 4 extra patrol cars in CS2 language. And then there's also a garage extension, which will add 12 more patrol cars as well. So you're going to be getting a total of 36 cars out of the police station there, which is a fair amount. But either way, very nice asset. Nice planters out the front. I'm not massively familiar with German infrastructure and architecture, so I really like them. I love as well that these buildings have kind of a brick side. Makes them a lot less daunting than some of the white sides, you know, that you have to dirge up yourself. So I love the red brick. Very nice indeed. Next door to this, we have the very tiny, cute police station, which is another wonderful building. This has an upgrade for an office extension, which adds some, but essentially like a loft conversion. And then also a garage extension around the back, which will replace the parking with a garage. But very small and compact. Looks like another great municipal building again as well, doesn't it? And then we have two of the signature buildings here, which are the department corner buildings. We have one, and then we have two. So this is the department row building, which again is just a department row building. They do have these very white sides again, so 100% you're going to want to be playing with some kind of decal pack, especially kind of sully stains, which will really just help them settle in with a bit of kind of grub and grime, if you like. So if you are going to use them and you're doing some element of detailing, definitely grab sully stains. They help an awful lot with these very clean faces. And then another one here as well, which are the wonderful corner assets. Very nice indeed. Happy with these. And then next door to this, we have possibly the best current train station available in the game. This is absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. So this is the German historic station. And again, just such a wonderful centerpiece. Now you can imagine partnering this with the larger police stations and high school buildings and forming up a really authentic historic city centre, which is quite hard to achieve with the vanilla assets. Well, this is wonderful. Look at this. Fantastic detail. Look at all this stonework on the station. That's really nice. This is great modelling. And again, just another testament to the insanely talented CS asset community, isn't it? Armesto, Feindbold, and Titan have done supreme jobs here. It does have 3 lines out the back. There is, however, room for another platform. And there is a rear exit, which is really cool, allowing you to really open up the back end of the station. I really like seeing that stuff. Hopefully that's something that comes with new stations in the future, to actually have all sides, or at least 2 sides of the station functional. And then it also comes with a commercial business, which is very cool. I'm just going to add some little street signs onto the platforms. And it will also increase comfort level and decrease maintenance costs through commercial renters, which is very nice. So it's really cute. That commercial upgrade also has lots of props out the front of the building too. Tables, food stands and whatnot. All very nice. So a really, really sweet station. Definitely my favourite station in the game, this one now. Really nice. Very cool. And then that does it for your service buildings. You got your police, fire stations, and a couple of signatures. Which now then brings us on to the mixed use buildings over here. So again, I'm not placing them all down because there's hundreds of them. But we can get a good example here. So I really recognise this kind of design here with the stripes. And again, just really well put together. If we're looking across the flat side of them, they are quite clean. Again, some decals probably warranted if you're not going to have those open faces exposed. But just a really nice collection of different styled assets, which is such a welcome change, isn't it? I always love the mixed use stuff. They're varying different kind of shapes and corners here. Different depths are going to give you different storefronts along the buildings. And you can see as they move up through the levels, they move a little bit higher. These are obviously all of our corner units here. So you get the general impression with these. They're all very nice. They're all very welcome. We come into the non-corner units here, which do have some courtyards available at the back of them. I love the doors on these buildings too. Hopefully we can get them as a prop. But nice little courtyards around the back. Really nice storefront. Like how the building kind of chisels out as well. There's balconies with more windows in there. It kind of moves backwards and forwards away from the curb. I like the depth on the buildings there too. Very nice. I guess they're all quintessentially kind of old town German, aren't they? They're very nice. Very cool. And then we have more of the mixed use behind here as well. Just see how they shift and change throughout the levels. Love this one here with the slightly more red brick on the front. A really nice design, that, isn't it? Got some slightly deeper assets here as well with the mixed use. Maybe do have little courtyards in between them. Very cool. Almost like you've got more apartments behind the building, which I don't know if that's more of a German characteristic. Maybe it is if that's how they've done that. But really nice. Really wonderful. Some basic light prop work out the back, and we stumble across some slightly different shapes here. But wonderful. Regardless, I was so complimentary of the French pack, and although this one isn't as big, the standard is certainly as good. It's so refreshing to see a CS2 get some new assets, and again, all this is of quality of what you would expect from a paid DLC, isn't it? Especially the quantity you get as well. It's so very rare in life that quality and quantity often meet, isn't it? But Turns out the creators around the world packs are absolutely doing that. Another one of those ones with the balcony on the front. So really sweet, and then it switches back to that kind of old style here at the lower levels, doesn't it? But very nice regardless, very nice. Then some of the grander level ones up here. More courtyards, but you're kind of seeing the similar kind of mesh and building textures remain the same, it's just usually the colour palettes that change on them. Got some double balcony action on these mixed uses as well. Very cool. Different courtyards knocking around the back. So like they're pretty substantial buildings, aren't they? Some of these 6 deep mixed use assets. So with a little bit of fusing and move it, you can begin to create some really large blocks, which I'm looking forward to. Of course, expect to see these assets in Edinburgh on Wednesday's episode. I think we're going to head over to the cathedral and do a bit of a renovation around there with some German stuff, probably taking inspiration from Cologne, which I think will be a really nice build. Love this as well. And they're getting those balconies on the top level with the tiles. Very nice. Love all the little red window frames too. It's a very welcome pop of colour, isn't it? And then a totally different style here as it comes into some more red brick. Very nice. Then we've got another one of those final mixed use buildings over here, which is very nice indeed. Wonderful courtyard detailing around the back, isn't that fantastic? And that does it for our mixed use. Now moving on to the medium density housing, again, which has a number of corner arrangements which look just gorgeous. Look at that. All that brickwork, all the textures there. Incredibly good looking assets. Different kind of stone over here too. These are all your medium density housings. Show you the zone types here. So if you filter out for German, you'll see the mixed use, and then you've got the medium density here. So that's what we're looking at here. And look at that. As they move it through the levels, they become significantly more grander and exquisite. Isn't that just great? So all the little details worked into these. Little mural made out of stone there. This one has a very hidden little internal courtyard, a building that's dying to be fused into kind of a 2x2 block, isn't it? To create a big cube of this type of building. Very German indeed. And again, just fantastic work. Balconies on them. Real nice. Just endless compliments to the guys that have put these together again. Incredibly talented, aren't they, to be able to put something like this through Blender or whatever it is they use to 3D model this kind of stuff and have the creative vision to pull it off. Certainly something I couldn't do. And they're just wonderful, aren't they? But they kind of maintain similar shapes, seeing similar designs come in from the stuff we saw in the mixed use here with a change in the kind of brick and paint textures. Then this one as well, got that stone balcony. Love that. That's really sweet. And just fabulous. All these little alcoves and kind of window covers. Adds a lot of kind of chiseled depth to the building, doesn't it? Which really helps, I think, much better than just a flat face. And the building kind of pops and falls away, different design there as it kind of juts out, isn't it? Away from the building. Very nice. So all your corner buildings, they kind of follow the same design, right? They change kind of height as they move through the levels, depending what zone and size you have. But regardless, they do all have little differences on them, different shaped balconies, props and whatnot, so you at least see some variation. That is the corner buildings, which then draws us into kind of the main meat and potatoes. So there's some more corners here as well, actually, and you can see just slight differentiators on them. This one here is great, isn't it? I love the white and the red. That's a fantastic contrast for a street corner. More great little spires, balconies. This one's gorgeous, isn't it? Oh, look at that. Look at that. That is possibly my favourite one so far. Maybe these red and white ones are also very nice as well, though. And then we move into the medium density housings here, which are not corner buildings. So again, just great brickwork, fantastic textures, little pops of colour, nice centerpieces on the buildings too. So all of a sudden in CS2, German and French builds are now very much a realistic possibility. Granted, you probably need mods, because find it and pop the grow balls is almost essential when you want to build a recreation, but these certainly go a long way, don't they? I'm a big fan of these creators around the world packs, of course. Is it Japan or I think it's UK after this one, isn't it? I'm fairly sure it is UK. Which I think will have something a little bit special planned, whilst it's the UK one. I maybe have a couple of irons in the fires. And that Japanese one should be very good, shouldn't it? Look at that. Again, it's great buildings. You're going to find the usual collection of props, benches, trees, and decals around the back. Some of them have courtyards like we saw on the mixed use. There's not too much difference there. But wonderful buildings regardless. On some of the higher level ones here, and more courtyards around the back. Little parking feature here too. Some clotheslines at the back as well. Again, those 6 deep buildings really giving you quite a significant footprint, almost 2 buildings in some aspects, which will change up your city building, I think. And then just endless compliments, as always, for these wonderful packs. I hope you imagine to get a sense of what it is you're going to get with these. It's not as big as the French pack, as I mentioned. This one's only, I think, 1.1 gig. The French one was quite a bit over 3 gigabytes, I think, wasn't it? So if you are one of those struggling for space, the German pack will not leave as big a dent as the French one did. But you're still going to leave yourself with a great selection of assets. And there's something I'm really coming to enjoy about these packs. I hope this is something we see throughout the lifespan of CS2. This isn't just kind of a one-off campaign. These creator packs continue to come. And all these, well, look at this one, kind of the blue and the white stone. Very nice. This one's great too, isn't it? I know these aren't Dutch, but this one gives me very strong Amsterdam vibes for some reason. I think it's the red brick with the white window frames. Well, I guess it's a very similar sort of architecture between Dutch and German, isn't it? Well, I'm probably going to have the architecture police in the comments after saying that. Set myself up for it. But really wonderful. Really, really nice. And then this brings us round to the back over here. And then we do have some more rows. So it's not as kind of, I don't want to use the word fleshed out. I think it's just not as dense as the French pack. Obviously we got the row homes in there as well, and the low rent housing. But there are less curators that have worked on these. But regardless, still absolutely wonderful. And then this brings us up to the end here. So there's a good few hundred assets between all the variations and different meshes, including your service buildings as well. But you'll be left with a wonderful treat, leaving German cities a very realistic possibilities now. So do let me know what you think of this one. I'm really happy with both of these creators around the world packs so far. Both with really distinctive styles, bringing some much needed variety to the CS2 asset pool. Otherwise, I'll shut up and leave it there. Let's thank all the patrons, Andrew Perez and Casino, for their golden eggs. Thank you for all your support, legends. Links are down below to Instant Gaming and Patreon, should you wish to get a little bit more egg in your life. I expect to see these in Edinburgh, especially. I'm not sure if we'll manage to work this particular style into Kokai. I did say we would do a French colonial build. If we do a German colonial build, I'm not really sure. I'd have to check out some inspiration for that. But certainly expect to see these in this week's episode of Edinburgh as we rework the area, I think, around the cathedral, taking some inspiration from Cologne, which would be a lot of fun. But let me know what you think of these, otherwise I'll shut up and leave it there. Let's thank you all so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.